I just did. Okay, let's see. All right, guys, I'm sorry about the delay. Um, then we also have Madhavi. Hi, what's your name? Rajiv Chaudhary, thank you. Okay, guys, so as you can tell, it's a big class. I'm very happy about it. As a business owner, as a teacher, I like it that people are interested. Thank you for that. At the same time, I apologize about the inconvenience you guys have right now. I know you guys are sitting pretty over here, so good thing you came early. Those guys over here, not very good for you guys. So I don't know what will happen tomorrow. So let you guys know. Some people over here are auditing the class in the sense they haven't made up their mind yet about whether they'll continue or not. As much as I want everyone to continue, I'm pretty sure there'll be a couple of dropouts, right? Couple of dropouts would be there, so it might get a bit better. And then some people start taking the class from home. My general rule is don't take the class from home, take it from here, because it's a much better experience when you are in the classroom. But then some people, just because it's inconvenient to come, sometimes issues with kids or spouses or something. So I think it will get better. And in case you really find this very inconvenient, then of course you'll have to drop out and take the next batch, hopefully. But we'll get a better idea tomorrow. So don't drop out because of the crowd factor tomorrow. Let's just, and then Sachin, for example, is going to go back to New York after this week. On Wednesday, right? And then you're taking the class from New York, for example. So many such cases, people will be dropping out or going back to where they came from. All right, so let me make sure people are on the phone and they can hear me. Let's see. Who's on the phone? UV Sonavane. Okay. UV, can you hear me? UV, can you hear me? I can hear him. I can hear him type, which means... UV, can you hear me? Okay. I think he can. It's just that he's not listening to me. Okay. We'll worry about this later. All right. So I guess we need to give the material to some more people here. Pass it out, please. How many people are volunteering to take the class from home? Okay, Pravan, you'll take the class from home. Okay. Volunteers for home. Pravan, okay. Who else? Santoshi. Why you, Santoshi? Because Pravan is taking this class second time around, so I can understand. Where do you live? Sunnyvale. Okay. All right, I'll take it from you, even though generally I don't like it. And of course, there's no compulsion that you can't come. Every now and then, okay? Every now and then. Madhavi, I know you always be taking the class from home. You live in San Ramon somewhere, right? Petaluma. Wow, Petaluma. Thank you for coming today. Aparna, you don't have the link? That's the one, yeah. That's the one. Okay, hold on one sec. It should work. When did you start it? Guys, you still can log in?
No, I don't know why it's showing. Do I have to enter my first name and see everything, right?
You should enter everything. I already see one person there, so I know it is working. And just, okay, so you got a URL, right?
I got URL.
You got a URL. And you guys might want to listen into because you guys might have to do it from home every now and then. So the way this class works is for long distance people is we set up a link like this, right?
So go to webinar.com, that's the link, right?
Correct. Go to webinar.com/register/26221828.
Right. So I am clicking on that, and I'm getting like you need to enter your first name, last name.
Correct. Enter everything it's asking you to enter. Correct.
Right. So I'm entering everything, and then I don't know. I'm connecting to it, and it is saying that thanks for attending the webinar. I mean, thanks for attending the Canvas meeting.
Right. So try it again. Close that browser that opened up when you clicked on this link and try it again.
Okay.
Aparna?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, try it again, guys. I'll stay on the phone until then. Okay. Hi, what's your name, sir? Sudhakar. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Sudhakar. Okay. So can I get a count of how many people are still auditing the course? As in haven't paid, still evaluating. So starting from here. No, not Kusuma. Jyoti. Are you a confirmed candidate? You paid. Okay. Okay, Sudhakar, you're still evaluating, right? Okay, so audit. Rajiv, still evaluating, right? Audit, okay. Madhavi, paid, right? Vinod, paid H1, so no payment. Jaren, paid. Kusuma, auditing, right? Paid? Oh, okay, cool. I never even met you. I like it when people pay without meeting me. Elizabeth, auditing. Paid and audit, makes sense. Okay, got it. Deepti Taniru, paid, okay. Minakshi, paid, yeah, of course, yeah. Ragini, paid. Chirag and Tushar, paying today, even if the class sucks? I don't think it would. Okay. Audit, but almost confirmed. Okay. Vidya Iyengar, you paid? Thank you. Which Deepti's friend are you? Deepti Gupta? Okay, thank you. Pallavi, paid. Pravan, paid. Santoshi? Aarti? Paid, thank you. Rima? Auditing, thank you. Sachin? Paid. Rachna, paid. Okay. So who are the audits here then? Audits are kind of, but not really. Then Elizabeth paid an audit, which means still might want to back out. Rajiv and Sudhakar. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And okay, got it. All right, good. So more people showed up. Deepti Srivastav, I noticed that you showed up, which is good. Naveen, you are here just because you wanted to see a better screen. Okay. Sometimes, in case you guys are in the back and you guys can't really see the screen, you can actually click on this URL, the URL that I'll send to you, so you can actually see the screen on your computer screen. Okay. Aparna, what's your problem? Not able to log in still?
No, it's still loading.
Still loading? Okay. It's just downloading the Java. I think it should be okay. You want me to hang up and call me back?
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Deepti, I can hang up?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me make sure I can hear these guys from here. Hey, Val, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello, I can.
Thank you. Okay, that means everybody can hear me. Good. All right, guys. I have never had such a big batch before, so I'm very, very excited, which means we have a lot of people to market after the batch is over. Also means there's a lot of competition after the batch is over for you guys. But, you guys have always had competition. I mean, it's not just Canvas Infotech training and placing. There are a lot of other companies doing that. So there's always competition. You just have to be confident and you have to really, really work hard, right? That's the key. So right now the market is so good. This is no sales talk. I never do sales talk. You guys will realize that. We don't have good candidates. We have candidates, but we don't have good candidates to place. And by good, I mean people who give it everything they've got, right? So we have right now a dearth of candidates. So That's the reason I'm doing this batch, even though it's the end of the year. My marketing people told me, look, positions are there, but we don't have good candidates. So that's the reason I said, okay, one more batch before the year ends. So I'm hoping that you guys will continue and work hard, and at least half of you will be placed by February, which means that the batch will go on. So let's talk about the specifics of this batch, right? We are starting today, which is what, 23rd of November? So we are starting on 23rd November. And let's open up the calendar too. By the way, no, yeah, who's the person? Raman is that guy, Divya and Andrea's reference, okay. bg@gmail.com, okay. Okay. Webinar link. Control C, Control V, okay. So, so looking at the calendar to let you guys know, so you can plan your holidays, right? Everybody wants to do something for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Okay. By the way, I'm also recording this lecture, which means everything I'm doing on the screen is getting recorded right now. My speech is getting recorded and my actions are getting recorded. So in case you do miss a class because of some unforeseen event, you can at least get this recording. It comes to you as a WAV file, WMV file, so you can play it back at home. Okay. So I'll be sending this to all you guys after the class is over. Okay, so starting on 23rd, and as I have told a couple of you, I haven't met all of you, we will be taking Thursday and Friday off, right, of this week, which means no class this week, Thursday and Friday. So in a way, we are meeting Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is a designated off anyways, right? It's a designated off. So Thursday, Friday off. So then next week, of course, we'll go the usual. So 30th to 4th will be the second week. 7th to 11th will be the third week. 14th to 18th will be the next week, fourth week. So we will do classes until the 18th. Is that a problem with anyone? No? That's what I thought too. I wasn't looking at the calendar. It was actually, I was only causing misconfusion. Does that pose a problem to you, Ragini? You bought your ticket, but you'll be going back to North Carolina, right? You can do a couple of days from there, not a big deal, right? I think you'll do fine. Okay. So yeah, sorry about that. I kept saying 15 because it was the middle of the week month and I didn't realize it would be the 18th. So, okay. So we'll have usual classes on 30th to 18th, 30th November to 18th December, usual classes, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? And then we'll take some time off for Christmas and New Year's, so 21st to 25th off, 28th to 1st off, and we'll resume on the 4th of Jan. So 2 weeks off. I think we all deserve it, right? 4th Jan, classes resume. Okay, so which means how many weeks does that make it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 weeks till 18th. And I know that 2 days off in between, it's not a big deal. There's enough cushion built into this class to take care of some holidays. So 4 weeks there. And then we'll start on the 4th to 8th. So that's 5th week, 6th, 7th, 8th. Till the 29th of Jan. Hi, how are you? Of course, you can say wherever you can find a spot. So till the 29th of Jan, right? So apparently we are going till 29th of Jan. Last day of class. That will make it 8 weeks in all. So now you guys know when you'll be graduating, right? Very short course, right? You become a project manager, BA in about 8 weeks, not a bad deal. Okay. Okay. It kind of makes sense. So half of November, or maybe last week of November, December, and then the whole month of Jan. All right, guys, so let me give you a bit of background on myself before we go any further so you guys know who you are interacting with. My name is Alok Bhatia, and I've been teaching BA, PM, and QA classes for the last 3.5 years. I started this business in July 2006, and I was working as a business analyst and a project manager in Wells Fargo Bank, WFB, till August 2008, which means for these 2 years, I was actually double timing, right? Which means I was doing, I'm sorry, these are candidates calling today for the class. Rupali. The webinar link? Sure, definitely. I'll send it to you. It's not working for Veena, okay? Rupali Rao and Veena Srivastav. Veena Srivastav at hotmail.com. Okay. Should work. Try again. Okay. Aparna, you there? Can you hear me okay? Sometimes people can talk to you because the microphone doesn't work. And then they'll put questions here. Hi, Alok. Okay. Raman Kumar. Okay, good. I don't have mic. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think that she can hear me okay. Alrighty. So where was I? Right. So I was telling you about myself. I was working in Wells Fargo Bank as a project manager, business analyst for about 2 years while running this business. Then once we had enough people on billing, I was able to quit Wells Fargo Bank. So I started doing Canvas Infotech full time. Before that, I came to this country in 1992 December. Did my master's in computer science. Then I came to Bay Area in 1996 in the Bay Area. And I've been working in companies like Synopsys in Mountain View, Ernst & Young in Mountain View, Excite at Home. I don't know if you guys have heard of this company, Excite at Home. How many people have heard of this company? Rachna? Only one? Okay, very bad. Excite was actually almost like a Yahoo in the 1999-2002 timeframe. A pretty big search engine, huge search engine. And At Home Networks was a cable modem provider, and AT&T sort of bought them over. So it was a combined company. After that, I worked with Inktomi. How many people have heard of Inktomi? Sudhakar, are you techie? Yeah, good, that's why. Inktomi was actually Yahoo's search engine. There's a company called Inktomi which was making the search engine for Yahoo. So even though Yahoo was termed as a search engine or a search website, their search technology was powered by Inktomi. So I was working for that company. This was all as either as an engineer or as a development manager, right? So I never moved into BAPM. Finally moved into Wells Fargo Bank in 2003, again as a developer. And then in 2005, I became a business analyst, and in 2007 became a PM. So that was my journey until Canvas Infotech. So I thought you guys should know who you're interacting with. The class is too big for me to go around and get your introduction. I don't want to take up an hour of class time, so I'll learn about you guys slowly and slowly. Okay. And I'm sure you guys don't mind it. Right? It's not very comfortable talking about yourself in front of 20 people. Okay, good. So let's get into the material. Vinod, can you pass out some material to you guys who just walked in? Sudhakar, and who else doesn't have material? Okay. No, this is both BA and, well, okay, good question. Very good question. The material that I just passed out, is it only for BA or also for QA? So the material I passed out is mostly for BA and PM, mostly 90%, 10% QA material. The reason QA doesn't have much material is because QA is all about tools. It's all about teaching you Quick Test Pro, Load Runner, and Quality Center. and they have user guides, but I don't need to print them out. They're available. I'll be sending them to you as a soft copy. So the book that you have doesn't have much QA material, mostly has BA material. Okay. How many people are here primarily with the interest of QA? Madhavi, okay, that's a good thing. Let me note that. So Madhavi is here for QA, and then Paramjeet is here for QA. Meenakshi is here for QA, and Deepthi is here for QA. For both, right? Okay. No, both is good. Primarily though, when you were thinking about training, were you thinking BA or QA?
Actually, I've done QA before.
Okay, PA, right. Makes sense. Kusuma. And everybody else is for BA? Okay, and you also, Pallavi. It's for both, yeah, I know. Well, both becomes kind of icing on the cake, but okay, good. And how many people are definitely BAPM? No way I'm going to become a QA. Ragini is the first hand up. Naveen, you too? Okay. I was like, oh my God, you too? Wow, really? So, okay, and we'll talk about this. Chirag, Tushar, Elizabeth. I presume some of you are saying this because you think QA is too technical, right? Is that the reason? And Naveen, you shouldn't be afraid of technology. You are a techie, right?
I have a master's degree in
Industrial engineering, yeah, you're a techie by all. Okay, let me give you one more sort of insight. QA is not really very technical. It depends upon what kind of QA job you do. There are many QA jobs which are pretty manual and which have some level of automation, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be a programmer to be a QA. So some of you at least might change your mind about being a QA engineer also along the way. But BA definitely no programming. Absolutely correct, right? Here, maybe no programming, right? So those are the jobs that we are aiming for you guys, right? Maybe no programming. Okay, good. So let's see, other people have joined as Deepthi was able to join finally. Veena hasn't been able to join. Amy, can you please help Veena again? She's not here yet. Yeah. Raman is there, and Raman also has a question. He's raised his hand, so let's see. What does he want? How can we get it? So what about the material? How can we get it? Okay, good question. So Deepthi and people on the phone, you guys are going to be coming here tomorrow anyways, right? And those of you who won't be coming, if you're just taking the class from long distance, we will mail it to you. We'll mail it to you, the material. So, and then Raman had a question. So let me unmute Raman so Raman can talk to me. Raman, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I wanted to know the class schedule which you already went through.
The class schedule that I already went through. I'll be sending these notes to you, Raman, so you'll have an idea about it. But roughly speaking, no class this Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
No class this Thursday and Friday, and no class from 21st December to 1st of Jan. No class from 21st December to 1st of Jan.
Till means 10 days. Okay.
Those 10 days. And other than that, class on the usual schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay. And when this is going to end in this
The class is going to end on 29th of January.
Okay.
That's the last day of class.
Okay, 29 Jan. Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's get into the material. So you guys are here to either become a business analyst, project manager, or a QA engineer, right? I usually club BA and PM together because they pretty much go hand in hand. You can be a business analyst and a project manager after having taken this course. Or you could be a QA engineer, right? The way I will be doing this course is I will be interleaving the topics, which means one day I'll cover a topic interest for QA, and then maybe in a couple of days I'll do material which is of interest to QAs and vice versa. But you guys should still attend both the lectures, right? You should not say, oh, today Alok is going to teach QTP, let me miss the class. But today Alok is going to teach rational rows, and therefore let me miss the class, right? Okay, so these are all the topics we'll cover. Okay, I'm skipping our introduction of classmates because of the class size being too big. So these are the various topics we'll cover as we go along, right? And I have sort of days marked over here. Today I intend to do all this. Then tomorrow I intend to do these topics. On the third day I intend to do these topics, right? I'll send this to you too. In fact, I should take the time out now to make an alias because I'll need to start sending you stuff right now. New list, BA QA batch, November 23rd, 2009. And I'm sorry guys, I'll have to start this from here. Naveen and Rachana and Sachin and Rima. I don't think I have you, or do I? Rima, I do. Your email ID, Arti?
So it's like,
Arti?
actually, it's a source link at Yahoo.
Oh, source link at yahoo.com. Okay, got it. Santoshi, I have you. And Pravan, I have you. And Pallavi, I think I have you. V Pallavi, 2004. And what's your email ID? PP Direct? PP Direct? Okay. Tushar Tall. Tushar Desai? No. Tush underscore F1 visa. Okay. I always find email ID very interesting. Chirag Patil 4. And Ragini, I think I have you. And Minakshi, I think I have you. And Rajiv. Dot. JIV B Rajiv. Oh, okay, okay. And then Deepthi Taniru and MSKR and Elizabeth. And Param. Sudhakar, what's your email ID? Huh? VINTHA S. Okay. And email ID? Arti? Anjali Sharma. Anjali, you attended last few classes, no? No? Okay, oh, we just met at the orientation the other day, okay. Anjali Sharma 22@gmail.com. Okay. Kusuma? One. Keep going. Okay. And Jyoti. THI underscore Mothala. Okay. And then Jarin and then Vinod. Oh wow. Okay, these guys also I forgot. Aparna and Deepthi Srivastav and Godhuli, and then Naveen, I already got you. Raman, DBG, Rupali, Nirajan, Gosai, Vality Thomas is me, the Virgo, and Veena Srivastava, welcome Veena. And I don't think she wants her work ID. Hotmail.com. And UV Sonavane. Okay, good, finally. Okay, so why did I make this? I was going to send you something. I was going to send you the course topic. Fine, okay. Sometimes you have to help me, getting old. Right, to BA QA batch, November 23rd. List of topics along with which day we will cover what. Please don't take this as an excuse not to come to class. Also, sometimes I might deviate. Okay, so this is going to you guys. Okay, so let's talk about how I will be grading you guys. There'll be a quiz every week on Monday, which means your weekends are pretty much short for the next 2 months, right? You have to study a lot for the quizzes. Quizzes is my way of finding out how are people doing, how much are people keeping up, and that's a very strong indication of your desire to get placed, right? A lot of people will not be placed, by the way, right? I think most of you guys are doing this class to get a job, but then I've always maintained in my orientations, my success rate with placement is about 60%, which means 40% people never get placed. And I almost always attribute it to a consultant's or a candidate's lack of motivation, right? Maybe they don't really need a job. Maybe their husbands make six-figure salaries. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they have in-laws from India, whatever. I've heard everything pretty much under the sun. So grading is my only way of being objective as opposed to having a subjective gut and feel about a candidate, right? Homeworks. You guys will be getting a lot of homeworks, which is going to be due on a specific day. And the day it is due is when I expect it. Let's see. Where did the homework go? Do you guys see homework in your material in the index in the beginning? Yeah, master homework list. Yeah. There you go, right? So there will be homeworks along the way, many homeworks. Almost how many? 12. Well, now it is 12. Sometimes you might have an older version of the material. So for example, the first homework would be due on meeting 5, and you'll have to do a project charter, right? And even those people who are taking this course primarily for QA might make sense to do BA homeworks also, and vice versa, right? When there are test cases that have to be written, I would assume even BAs will do it, right? So these homeworks will also be graded, and I will be posting the results in an Excel spreadsheet to all of you, so everybody knows how people are doing with respect to each other, right? So these homeworks have to be followed on a pretty much strict basis. Due on meeting 5 means before the class starts at 9 a.m. on the 5th meeting, I expect the project charter in my mailbox. So all of these are going to be a soft copy, right? Send me a soft copy. I don't want hard copies from you. So I can give you my feedback on your homeworks, right? And it's out of 10 points each homework. And for each day the assignment is late, it will cost you 1 point, right? So if you send me the homework on meeting 6, I'll still grade it, but I'll take -1 off. The reason I'm being almost high schoolish is because that's how real world is, right? In real world, when a document is due, it's due. 20 people are waiting for your BRD or for your functional spec document. So I'm trying to be the same. So, right, overall participation is important. I hope that you guys will participate in the class, ask me questions, give me real world examples of your experiences, right? Some of you have worked as operations people, as recruiters, as developers. I expect that you guys will participate with me in the class and talk about your experiences. At the end of the batch, I will be evaluating you guys not just on the quizzes, but on a lot of various characteristics, various traits. Those are listed here. Okay, they are physical attendance in class, which means if you guys are capable of coming to class, please come to class. Right? It shows commitment. It shows that you really care about getting a good education. Coming to class and paying attention in the class, right? A lot of people get distracted with, texting and Yahoo messengers and stock options and stuff like that. So please pay attention when you're here. Taking a lot of notes is one thing I've noticed is almost always a mark of a successful candidate, because for a lot of you guys, this is a new topic, it's a new subject, and I'll be saying a lot of things very rapidly, and you guys will have to remember all these things later on when interviews are happening. So when you take a lot of notes, it's a good sign that you guys will be able to repeat what I say to interviewers, right? So taking plenty of notes. And I get a sense of people's notes taking habits, even though I'm sitting here, you guys are there, I'll get an idea about who's writing, who's not. English is something that you are basically coming to this class with. It's not something I'm adding to or removing from your capabilities. But to be a BA especially, and also for QA, make sure that you have good written English. If you don't, perhaps you can take some classes. Right? There are many classes around which can help you improve your English. Right? Punctuality to classes, which means being here on time, not 9:10, not 9:15, and I'll try to do the same. Interaction in class with me, as I talked before. Timeliness of questions in class. I'm sure you guys have taken classes where there's some student who takes the discussion a completely different direction. It has no bearing on the topic we are discussing in class, right? People just like to talk, which is a good thing, but then they're talking about a completely different topic than what we are discussing. So that's almost always a sign of, I don't know, I guess I would say immaturity in a way, because you don't really understand what's being discussed now when you're talking about something else. So discussions are good. I like interaction, but let's keep it relevant. And let's make sure we are talking about things which everybody's interested in, right? So if you are telling me something about your background or your experience, give the context to everybody so everybody can participate and learn from that, right? So timeliness of questions and relevance of questions. Excitement level about placement, right? Some people are, I don't see them after the class, 9 to 12, and after that, that's it. And then they come to the class next day, and then that's it. No interaction at all. You have to be very heavily involved with us, right, to get placed, right? So cheerfulness, optimism, can-do attitude, right? All these things matter a lot. And these are all the various weightages I've given to these various traits, right? So I hope this is clear. And then helpfulness towards class members, right? If you know that somebody is slow, somebody is not able to catch up, I really appreciate that when I notice an effort from your side in helping somebody else. That's always a good sign. And then, of course, the biggest indicators are, as you can tell, 15% each, homework and quizzes, right? And everything else is, of course, just icing on the cake, right? All these things. All right, so I'll send this to you too, even though I don't think you really need this, but just to give you an idea about BAQA batch, November 23rd, how you will be graded. Alrighty, so let's see. We'll take a break at 10:30 every day, 10:30 to 10:40 a.m. So you guys can use the bathroom, get coffee. There's McDonald's around the corner. And then use of highlighter and sticky notes. So as you guys, again, as I said, it's a very complicated subject, right? It's not an easy subject, even though it's not technical, but still kind of complicated. So I expect that you guys will take a lot of notes and highlight a lot of stuff in your notes and use sticky notes. Sticky notes means, you guys understand the sticky notes, right? Yeah, something like this, exactly. So use these notes to kind of make notes for yourself in the notebook and have quick access to something. The reason that's important is because when you guys are doing interviews, you guys will have to keep your material in front of you. I'm talking about phone interviews, not face-to-face. And you'll have to sometimes refer back to your notes while talking to somebody, say about change management or about bug management. So rather than fumbling at the last minute, it's good to have indexes or index to your notes so that you can quickly get to it. It's a good sign of preparation. All right, so next topic is what software should you have on your machine in case you're taking this class from home? So I would expect that you guys will download Oracle 10G XE. It's a database and it's a free one, Oracle Database 10G. Even if you're not taking this class from home and you're taking this class from here, it would be a great idea for you to install all these softwares on your home machine so you can practice, right? You can practice Oracle queries in your free time. Hopefully you guys already have Microsoft Visio. It's a part of Microsoft Office, but if you don't, download it or buy it. Download it for 2 months free or just buy it for like 99 bucks, right? Microsoft Project, again, all these lab machines have it, but if you're doing it from home, then I expect you guys to have these softwares. And you already have this sheet sent to you. Rational Rows. Rational Rows is a software that we will cover in this class, and you should get a demo version of it from the IBM site, right? Rational Rows. This will also get you in the habit of exploring softwares, installing them, dealing with issues about licenses and stuff like that, right? So Rational Rows. Altova XML Spy. Altova XML Spy, which is an XML editor, which we'll also cover in this class. I'm covering all this right now because I don't want to later on hear that, oh, I didn't have the software, so I didn't learn, right? So upfront, if you guys will take care of these things, that would be great. Quick Test Pro, QTP, Load Runner, and Quality Center, right? Okay, now one more smart thing to do is, say you know that we are going to start Load Runner when. Let's look at this sheet. When will we start Load Runner? Load Runner is done. Hold on. Around 24th day. Okay. 24th day means how many days from now? 6 weeks from now. And the Load Runner license demo version only lasts you 10 days, which means don't install Load Runner now. Because if you install Load Runner now, 10 days later it would have expired. So don't install all of these softwares. This is something which is free perpetually. MS Visio, people tell me it's for 2 months. So you can perhaps install it now. MS Project, I don't know. Anybody knows how long the demo version of Microsoft Project works? I would think 1 month. Rational Rows, I'm pretty sure demo version 1 month. Altova Spy, demo version 1 month. QTP, demo 1 month. Load Runner, only 10 days. And what did I do? I said something here, okay. And this was Quality Center, which is demo version 1 month. So now you would have a better idea about when to install that software, right? As you see that I'll be covering that the next day, you can install it that day, the previous day. Okay, so All right, let's talk about this class a bit more. So what are we here to learn? We are here to learn either how to become a business analyst project manager or QA engineer, right? And periodically I'll be looking at this sheet here to make sure that people don't have questions and that, okay, sorry, it was my daughter. Okay, hold on. You forgot mine, Shankar. I forgot you in my alias. I apologize about that. Address book. I thought I did not forget about you. Nirajan. IJKL. Huh, I have you, Shankar. I have you. So yeah, okay. Good. Deepti will be in this batch, so please add me. Yes, sorry for that. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, you guys will ask me questions in this area, guys. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're here to either become a BAPM or a QA. To be able to become either this or this, you need to understand the concept of SDLC. SDLC stands for Software Development Life Cycle. It's a fancy term for a basic understanding of how software is developed. Okay. And this concept is shown in session 4. So I would like you guys to open up day 4 topics. It says session 4 or day 4 in your books. And I would like you guys to go to page 25. Day 4, page 25. Software Development Life Cycle Model. So when software is developed, there are various variations, by the way, but this is one of the classic models of software development. Okay, many variations, but this is the classic model of software development. The classic model is that some folks, some people have a concept in their mind. You know, they feel that, oh, we're lacking a software to do such and such things, right? Or maybe they already have a software, but they're thinking we're lacking these features. So concept, it's like that bulb going on, right, in their minds. So the bulb goes on in their mind, and that's the concept. So a business analyst is involved over here, and they create something called a project charter, right? So a project charter is created over here. Okay, and then it's a, and we'll this is all chapter 2. We'll cover this in a lot more detail. Okay, and then once the project charter is complete, the concept is very clear in people's mind. That's when requirements gathering start to happen. Okay, and documents like BRD and FSD are created. BRD stands for Business Requirements Document, and FSD stands for Functional Specification Document. So these documents are created by a BA. What does it have? It has the list of features that the software will have, right, in a lot of detail. So it details the functionality. These documents, they detail the functionality of the software, and BRD and FSD detail the functionality of the software. Once these documents are completed by a business analyst, the development team jumps in and they work on the design of the application. Which means they're not developing right now, but they're just designing, almost like an architect designs a building before they construct it, right? Like the blueprint. It's like the blueprint of the software. Once the design is over, That's what most people think of software. Oh, are you in software? You must be a developer. That's what people think, right? But that's not true. So you can kind of imagine that there's a lot more to software development than just development. Concept is something you could be involved in. Requirement something you could be involved in. Design, maybe not, because to design you have to be an awesome developer, right? A lot of developers become designers. They become technical architects. They call them architects or system designers because they have now 6, 8, 10 years of experience, and now they are saying, well, you know what, we'll become designers. We don't want to code anymore, right? Some people say, oh, if you've been coding all your life, it means you're not moving up in life. But that's not really true. I know a lot of people who are very good and they want to stay developers. They want to stay technical. They want to be hands-on developers, right? So not necessary. And that's when QA comes in after that. It's called the acceptance phase. It's also called the QA phase, right? QA phase. That's where a QA engineer writes test plans, test cases, right? Test execution, which means open bugs, take the bugs to developers. Realize that QA people never fix bugs, right? Almost never. Sometimes they do, but 99% of the times, the job of QA is to identify bugs and then hand it back to developers, and developers then fix it, and then QA people retest it, right? Once all this is over, it's time to actually deploy the software, as in install the software on servers so end users can start using it, right? So that's the deployment phase. A PM plays a major role in deployment, as in facilitating the deployment, right? Conducting meetings, making sure servers are there, making sure licenses are there, making sure IP addresses have been allocated. A lot of things happen in deployment, right? And then the usual maintenance and support, right? End users are using your application and they find issues. They want to have enhancements. They find bugs. So it all comes back to a PM or a BA. And then bug fixes happen and stuff like that, right? And finally, the software may get retired. I think software may get retired. So that's the classic waterfall model of software development, right? And you guys need to have an idea about that. We'll talk about a lot more models. We'll talk about a rational unified process model, the agile model, the prototyping model, the spiral model, but this is something to begin with. Okay, let's make sure there are no questions from people. Software development lifecycle, that's correct, good. Okay, people are giving their comments. Okay.
This BRD will have specific functionalities?
The difference, yeah, good question. What will the BRD have? The business requirement document, let's actually cover that. Hold on. Let me ask you to open this document, which is called, it's in your notes, difference between business, functional, and technical requirements. Let me also open the table of contents. Table of contents, okay. On the very first page, do you guys see this? On the very first page of at the very beginning, there you go, right? That's your table of contents, right? In this table of contents, it kind of gives an idea about what is what, right? So this is the document I'm asking you to open up, which is number 7. Concrete example of business, functional, and technical design. So you can see it is after day 2. It is after day 2. So let me walk around and kind of help you. You guys, sorry, okay, I'll not walk around yet. Keep flipping until you get to the end of day 2 material. End of day 2 material. And you see on the top it says session 1. So get to day 2, end of day 2. And after end of day 2, you will see, there you go. That's the topic I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. So you guys got it. At the end of day 2, you're going in the opposite direction. Go in the other direction. Priscilla. No, yeah. There you go. If you guys have found it, please tell your neighbors. After session 2, after day 2, after session 2, you will see Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Jyoti asked the question, what is the business requirement? Is it the functionality of the software? Um, okay. I'm wondering if this is the right time to get into it, or should I just answer Jyoti's question in a succinct manner right now? You know what? It's too early. I don't think you guys will understand this. So Jyoti, you asked the question. Ask the question again.
Actually, like we'll get the templates to work on that, or it's totally functional.
Okay, so business requirements. And you said, will we get templates? So one thing is for sure, whichever company you join, there will almost always be templates. Templates as in when you are required to create a project charter, you will get a template from the company, which will basically be a document which has a lot of sections in it, and you're supposed to fill in the sections. Same thing with business requirement document, test plan, test cases, functional spec document. So that is true that every company has their own templates because they've been doing BRDs, FSDs for years now, and they don't want a new BA to come and start creating something different. So that is correct. But then you also asked the question, what does the BRD have? A BRD has a listing of the features that a software should have. The BRD is a listing of the features the software should have. Okay. Let's work on a rough BRD right now since you asked this question. Okay. Which means I want to list the business needs and wants from a software. Okay. List the business needs and wants from a software. Okay, let's see something that you guys are all familiar with. See, you guys are all familiar with online banking, bill pay sort of features, right? So say we are Patelco Credit Union. Okay. And Patelco is a well-known credit union, but maybe they are not very web focused right now. Aditi? If you lost the connection, then you should retry again. Okay. Do I see you here? Yeah, it says Deepti Srivastav offline. So you might want to close the browser and then again click on the URL. Okay, thank you. Okay. So suppose they are not very web focused right now, and a new CEO came in and he said, you know what, guys, he told his executive VPs and senior marketing managers, we really need to make our credit union more web focused so that people can do online banking, can do bill pay, right? So the project name will be, maybe I'm just making this up, Online Banking Initiative, right? Online Banking Initiative of Patelco. Who are you looking for? Yeah. So okay, and then a BA like you will be called Jyoti, right? Because you have experience before, and maybe you don't have experience, but your resume shows you have experience. And they call you in and say, okay, Jyoti, you are our business analyst for this online banking initiative, right? So what will you do? You will gather business requirements. Okay, gather business requirements. So this is how the scenario looks. This company is Patelco. Who are going to be the end users of this online banking bill payment? Customers. Customers like you and me, right? Are we inside Patelco or outside Patelco? Generally outside, right? I mean, we are not really part of Patelco. I mean, we are not the part of the employee workforce. So we are customers. This is the software being built. And this is the software being built. This is a bunch of developers, right? How many developers do you think will work on this project? Just a rough estimate. 4 only? I would think a lot more than 4. To take online banking and bill payment, I would think 40. No, I'm talking about the entire, the software development team will be at least 40 developers. You'll need that many. It's a huge initiative when you take something online. Okay, developers, how many QA people will be there? If there are 40 developers, 10, excellent. How did you know that, Rachna? 1 to 4?
No.
Yeah, actually that's true. For every 4 developers, there's going to be approximately 1 QA engineer, right? Okay, so and then this is the business team. This is the business team. Business team means what? They are the executive sponsors. What does that term mean? Executes the project, yeah, and somebody who pays for it, right? So maybe there is a business team within Patelco called Online Business Division, right? In Wells Fargo, for example, this is called Internet Services Group, ISG, right? Internet Services Group. So it's a business team. It's a team made of very senior managers. They're marketing managers. They're MBA types from Yale and Harvard and Stanford. Very accomplished, dedicated team which is there to take the business online. A business team. So then you are a BA here, right? You're a BA. So as a business analyst, you've been brought in, Jyoti, and now you have to figure out what are the various needs and wants of this software. Needs and wants of this software. Who will you ask, Jyoti, for the needs and wants from this software, I should say? Who will you be talking? Will you be talking to developers? No, the business team. You'll be talking to the business team. Will you talk to customers? No, you can't? You can, yeah. In this particular case, it might seem a bit unreal that you have to talk to customers because they are external users. But many times your customers of your application or users of your application are internal to your organization, right? For example, imagine this was not online banking but a teller application. In a teller application, your end users are internal to the organization, right? The business team is almost always internal anyways. So yeah, customers, you might be talking to them maybe through focus groups, right? Sometimes you might have to call a focus group, which means you invite some customers into your organization and ask them questions. Hey, we are going to be building online banking. You've been our customer for 10 years. Do you think it's a good idea? They'll say, definitely it's a good idea. What features do you want, right? What do you hope to be able to achieve from online banking? So what are some of the business requirements you will be able to get from these guys? The business team will tell you, we want ability to, end users will say maybe. End users will say, ability to pay my bills online so I don't have to lick stamps. Well, they might say that, but you will not write it in your BRD, right? Unless you're trying to be funny. Ability to pay my bills online. They'll also say, now I'm looking at you guys. Tell me, what other things do you want? Security. Okay. My account should be secure. And I have no idea what that means, Jared. Can you explain a bit more?
Basically, when I'm doing online banking,
when I'm entering my user ID and password. I don't want someone. I mean, it should be.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Got it. So I'll then maybe add some more. Yeah, encryption. You guys are saying encryption. Good. Secure. Somebody said secure sockets layer, SSL. Okay. I'm glad that you guys are familiar with these things. But on purpose, I will put these, not put these things here. Even though they are in the back of my mind, but I'll not put encryption and secure sockets layer into my BRD. The reason I will not put these things in my BRD is because these are solutions, right? And on purpose, a business requirement document should be at a very high level. It should be stating the business needs and not the solutions, right? So the way you guys said initially was great. My account should be secure. User-friendly is a different thing altogether. My account should be secure. Okay. So users' accounts should be secured from hackers. There you go. That's a perfectly finely stated business need. Even though I know that at the back end I would have to have my developers use encryption and SSL, but I'll not put that here. This thing will happen in the technical design. In the technical design part of my SDLC, I'll talk about these things, right? Okay, what other things, guys? Huh? Transfer funds, yeah. Users should be able to transfer funds where?
Within the bank or outside.
Okay. And when you said that, Sachin, did you mean individual within his own accounts or even inter-individuals? You meant both? Both. Okay, so we'll do it one by one. Transfer funds between their own accounts, which means checking to savings or savings to checking. Okay. And users should be able to transfer funds between different users. Schedule payments, yeah, there you go. Users should be able to schedule payments, recurring payments. Is that what you meant?
Online statements.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Monthly statement, yeah. Users should be able to view their monthly statements online. Oh yeah, and then users should be able to not just view, to download their monthly statements online. So sometimes you'll realize, one sec, Sachin, sorry. Sometimes you realize that BRDs are very long in number of pages because frequently BAs do this, even though they could have combined these two into one statement, but they still made it two because they're indeed two distinct functionalities. Viewing it on screen is one thing and downloading is another thing. Because if you don't say this as a BA, guess what? Developers will not give that feature. They'll show it on the screen. There'll be no button at the bottom that says download the statement. It is important to actually lay it out like this. And then, yeah, Sachin? Update account information. Yeah, users should be able to update account information. And so on and so on and so on. Boy, how many business needs and wants do you think we can write down if we really got down to it? 100 at least, if not more. So frequently you will see business requirement documents that have hundreds of business needs and wants. and realize that so far we have only covered one actor, which is end user. Do you think you'll also need to build some tools for bank insiders to be able to handle this, right? Maybe there'll have to be another extension of the software, which is for internal internal team. Let me give an example about that. So one is end user customer, okay? Another actor is operations team member. Operations team member is another actor of your software. What do they have to do? They need ability to sign up new merchants for integration with bill payment services. What that means is this Patelco Credit Union needs to hook up with, for example, PG&E, with Alameda County Water Department, with Citibank, with Chase, with Netflix, right? I can pay my Netflix account using online banking, right? And I don't, I literally want this to be a very easy thing. I type Netflix and the zip code, it automatically knows where to send my payment. I don't need to, I'm sure you guys have seen that, right? In online banking, if I have to pay my, say, credit card bill, they say, okay, which credit card company do you use? I say Citibank. It says, where's the zip code you send payment to? I say 94586, or, say it's 78095. And that's it. I don't need to give the address where I need to send the payment, because my online banking Patelco has a business relationship with Citibank that when I send a payment of $100, it knows where to send it. So that feature has to be, there has to be some integration work with merchants with Patelco, and your operations team needs some software to do that. So ability to sign up new merchants for integration with bill payment services.
Hello.
Yeah. So Pravan, I haven't brought in the concept of stakeholder yet, so I can't talk about it. But an actor is a stakeholder. An actor is a stakeholder. So to answer your question, an actor is a stakeholder. We'll talk.
This kind of functionality is for the end user, not for the operation team. Because you said that internally, right? But I guess this is for the end user.
Okay, I see what you're saying, Sachin. You're saying that this, what I have in the box over here, is something that even the end users need. End users need to be able to add new merchants. Yeah, I agree with that. So that would also be here. Users should be able to add new merchants to their bill pay view. Okay, so that is correct. So for example, Patelco might have 2,000 merchants, and I should be allowed to add one of the merchants from that. But here, this one is talking about adding a 2001th merchant. So Patelco, for example, has done business so far with 2,000 merchants, okay? And now Crate and Barrel comes along. And Crate and Barrel and Patelco are talking that, you know what? Why don't Patelco customers pay their bills of Crate and Barrel online directly to Crate and Barrel through Patelco? So wouldn't these operations team need a way to integrate Crate and Barrel into Patelco's bill payment service? So that's what I'm talking about. Once the operations team has integrated Crate and Barrel with Patelco, then a user may or may not add Patelco Crate and Barrel, depending upon whether that user does business with Crate and Barrel or not. So I see what you're saying, but I'm saying that yes, that is correct. That users should be able to add new merchants, but a user cannot add a merchant that doesn't even do exactly that doesn't even do business with Patelco. And I'm pretty sure. So if say you wanted to pay your Canvas fees online, can you do it using online bill pay? Yes, you can, yeah. But I will not get electronic funds. I'll get a paper check from Patelco, because I do not have an existing relationship with Patelco. Right? In fact, I have relationship with no bank. I'm not that big yet. that I need to be able to hook up as a merchant with any of the banks. One day when I do become big, if I become big, then maybe I'll have a, so that you can actually search for Canvas Infotech on Patelco, and it will say trying to pay money to these guys. Okay, good. So they'll have the address on file with them, my address on file with them. Right? So did I confuse you guys? No? Sachin is a bit confused, Sachin.
I want to give another example. Like, for example, we are taking this application.
Mm-hmm.
For the internal team, if they want to fetch a credit rating of an individual,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're going to hook up their application
Mm-hmm.
with the federal government or whatever.
With the credit bureaus, right?
And then they can pull out the credit rating. And on the basis of that, either they can, use the credit rating.
I agree. That's another feature. That's another feature.
Mm-hmm.
So for people on the phone, what Sachin said was, one of the other features that he's thinking is that maybe these customer operations team should have the ability to check credit score of a customer. But I'm wondering, is that really related to online bill payment? Or is it more like a...
If they go for retail bank.
If they go for retail. So they're increasing the scope of the application. I agree. But yeah, so this was a long answer to your question, Jyoti, about business requirements. Yeah, so as a BA, you literally have to talk and talk and talk. You have to talk a lot. You have something to say, Pranaya? I'm getting done in 3 minutes. Can you wait 3 minutes? Okay. There's a call. From who? Miss? Is that like federal authorities or what? It's her? Yeah, tell them I'll call them back. 10:30. Take the number. Okay. So where was I? So business requirements you gather by talking, by communicating, by hanging out with the end users, with the business team. And then once you gather all these, like just like you guys were taking down notes, eventually you will translate all this into a very nice BRD, into a template, right? So that's what business requirements are. Okay.
One more question for
Yeah.
SDLC.
Okay.
I still remember when you were preparing me for the interview with LPL. You told me that there are few shenanigans related to SDLC. What are
A few shenanigans with SDLC problems with SDLC.
There's no limitations. It's a passing model, but yeah.
Right, yeah. So I'm not ready to talk about that yet because actually SDLC comes down here, further down. Yeah, it comes much later. This was a very gentle introduction to SDLC, even though we talk a lot more on 16th session. So we'll talk about it then. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, okay, so templates. So question Elizabeth asked is, I said that you get to use templates. But let me give you an example of what templates mean, okay? So say you end up in Cisco, okay? And you are supposed to write a BRD, okay? Now, when I say a template, I mean that you would be working on this project, whatever this is, audit remediation initiative, okay? This is what template means. You will get a template that will say section 1 document history, revision history, and this table will be empty. So what you will do is you will put the today's date, your document version number, and your name, okay? And then you will be told, okay guys, these are the various folks who will be the reviewers of your document, right? So you will get an empty table, you'll fill it out, right? Then how do you get the details? That's your work.
Okay. In the meetings.
In meetings, through conference calls, by just going and talking to different people. So that's why a BRD takes maybe a month, right? And BRD is not something that you just crank out overnight. So when you are involved with a project, you are taken to tens of meetings and a lot of one-on-one interviews with people, and you are gathering information about the product that you are helping build. And then you are just filling out these various sections, right? So again, Elizabeth, what I mean by a template is you will get this thing, but you will not get this thing. So now you will have to fill out, you'll say things like Patelco is a leader in, credit union business. Okay. However, our customers are not given the basic convenience of online banking and bill pay, right? This project aims at implementing an online bill payment and online banking system, right? So it was empty and now you filled it out, right? And then you will put business needs. What are the benefits? What are the benefits of this, right? Improve customer service, reduce operating costs, right? Definitely the company benefits from it because now less people are walking into the bank, less tellers, blah, 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 right? So you will have enough information to talk about it, right? And that's what we'll do later on when we actually get into the BRD. So that's what I mean by a template. So this is a template from Cisco. If you had joined, for example, say 24-hour fitness, funny enough, right? There's a project that somebody is doing a 24-hour fitness, which is to update your monthly dues, which means rather than sending a check, you want to pay it online. Even 24-hour fitness will have a template, right? What are the requirements, right? So you will see templates. Some templates you'll see, wow, these are really crappy, and some templates you'll see like, let me show you Wells Fargo Bank templates. Very, very let's see, final specs. Actually, you guys have it. Why don't I make you guys open this? Example of a BRD. Here you go. If you look in your table of contents, guys, look in your table of contents and look for a document that says example of a BRD, which is after day 3. After day 3. Oh, you got the old one. Okay. You should also see it somewhere. Example, Mumbai State. Right. Example of Mumbai State BRD. Example of Mumbai State BRD. There is a document that looks like this, guys. Okay. Somebody in my batch a couple of 3-4 months ago did this. They created a BRD, and say you were working for a company called Mumbai State, you would have been given this template where all these things would be there, right? All these things would be there, all these things would be there, and then you just have to put your name, Elizabeth, prepared for which group, date submitted, who's the project sponsor, means who's paying for it, right? And then these are the various sections. An introduction of the project, right? Who's the intended audience for this project? What is the background of the project, right? What is the background, right? What are the business goals of this project? Who are the various stakeholders? What are the benefits of this project, right? So on and so forth. So a template is pretty much governed by the company you join. You would get the outline of various sections and you just have to fill them in with your project specific information. Project specific information. So guys on the phone must be really lost. Let me see how many people here do not have this material. Aparna won't have it, Deepti won't have it, Raman won't have it, Veena won't have it. So I should do, okay guys, let's take a break, 10 minutes. You guys can walk around, stretch your limbs, and we'll meet at 10:48 a.m. 10:48 a.m. And let me, in the meantime, send this material to people who are not here, which is Veena Shriv and Aparna Bhatt and Deepti Srivastav and Raman Kumar. Documents we went over. Okay guys, we will see you guys at 10:48. Okay guys, we should start. Let's see. Godali, you are funny, good funny. She says, yay, we're gonna start. Okay. Last 20 minutes. What was last 20 minutes? What all you discussed in the last 20 minutes? Oh. Deepti, you'll get the notes so you'll know what I discussed. What does colon P mean, Godali? Does that mean smile?
No, that's, yeah, smile with a one.
With the wink? Okay, good. I'm not very good at these emoticons, so it's excellent. Okay guys, let's start. So where were we? BRD, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's say now that you're taking this BA class, you should at least have an idea about what to say when somebody says, what exactly is a BA again? Right? You should have a solid answer for that. Okay. Okay. So a business analyst is a role in an IT team that acts as a liaison between the business team / end users and the development team. That's your two-line definition. A BA is a role in an IT team that acts as a liaison between the business team / end users and the development team. And then you'll go more into detail, right? As always, you give a definition, then you explain more. A BA gathers, gathers and documents requirements. A BA gathers and documents requirements collected from business team / end users. Okay.
Can we control the temperature in here?
It's very hot. Yeah, we can't. It's an old building, and the heat and the cold is all controlled by central things somewhere. So it's not individual units. We don't have individual units. Sorry about that, but I can send a note right to Pranaya, who takes care of these things for us. It is roasting inside. Please call PCOM management and ask them to turn off the heat period. You don't need heat here, right? I mean, I think it's better to wear jackets than... Okay, good. A BA gathers and documents requirements collected from the business team and users. Okay. So yeah, the primary role of a BA is to gather requirements. Gather requirements also means to define the scope of the project. That's one term you should get used to. Scope. Like, what's the scope of something? The scope of something means what can a product do? What are its features? What are its capabilities, right? So that's what you do when you gather requirements. You define the scope of a project. Another thing that a BA does is not just gather requirements, deal with shifting scope. Deal with shifting scope means deal with scope creep. Okay, that's another term you should... Scope creep will be talked about a lot in your career as a BA. Shifting scope means when you are building a house and you tell the contractor, I need 3 bedrooms, and then you realize, oh, my in-laws will live with me. Oh, I also need the in-law unit. That's a shifting requirement. It's a shifting scope. At first you thought I need 2 levels, and then you said, oh no, I only need 1 level because, again, in-laws are old and they can't go up the stairs. You never had a requirement of a landscaped backyard, and now you have landscaped backyard. You know, that's what it means in normal life. In the world of IT, shifting scope means yeah, things which were not discussed before and now they're being brought in after you have already finalized the scope. After you finish. So let's take the example of this Patelco thing. Say it was never discussed that users should be able to pay Canadian merchants. You know, say I live in America, but I'm a Canadian and I have a lot of bills in Canada I pay. So the business team here, right, the online business division never told the BA that they are also expecting to be able to pay Canadian merchants. And after the requirements were finalized, the documents were signed off. At that time, the BA hears, oh, we should be able to pay Canadian merchants. Now that's a huge scope change. That's a shifting change, shifting scope. So a BA has to deal with it. How he or she deals with it is in Chapter 8. In Chapter 8, there is a topic that talks about, you guys might want to just kind of glance through it. Let me show you day 8, session 8. Session 8 talks about scope change management. Scope change management. And, you know, you have to have your, on page 5 of chapter 8, you have to have your, the requester of change fill out this form. Why is this change? What is the description of the requested change? Why is this change being asked right now? What is the priority of this change? The impact of it? You know, it's simple. It's common sense. One thing you'll realize at the end of the 8 weeks is that it's mostly common sense. The field of business analysis, project management, mostly common sense with some buzzwords thrown in there. And you need to get used to the buzzword. You know, everybody knew what scope change meant. It's just that you did not know it as scope change. It means, you know, changing your mind about something is what scope change means. So that's what a BA has to deal with. These are the 2 things. These are the 2 responsibilities of a BA. Let me make sure there are no questions over here. Where did the questions go? View questions. Strange. Okay, view questions. Okay, good. No questions. Okay. Okay, so that's what a BA does. Let's see, what does a PM do? What does a project manager do in an IT project? A PM may or may not be responsible for BA duties. Plus, right? So which I mean to say, a project manager might also be responsible for requirements gathering, might be responsible for dealing with scope change. Plus, they'll do these other things, which is work with finance team in securing a budget for this project. Okay. Conduct weekly status meetings to make sure the project is on track. Yeah, exactly. So work with finance team in securing a budget for the project, conduct weekly status meetings to make sure the project is on track. Number 3, write RFPs, request for proposals, and evaluate proposals. That's chapter 4. If you look at your day 4 material, there's this thing called build or buy decision, and we'll talk about writing RFPs, right? And then evaluating the various proposals that we get. Okay. So I guess I'm trying to say over here, this is just a snapshot of what we'll be covering in the next 8 weeks. Right? I'm just giving you just a very high-level view. Right? Work with finance team. This is all in chapter 6 and 7. Yeah, RFPs is okay. What other things will a PM do? PM will be responsible for bug management, bug triaging, bug management, bug triaging. Rajiv, is there a fan over there? No, in front of you. Did I take it out? I must have taken it out. I was going to say we can start the fan. Huh? You can keep it there also. Jaren, Param, there is a fan over there, a thin fan somewhere around you. See? Like a white fan in the kitchen. There's a white fan. Bring it and we'll run it here and put it there. A white one, not the black one. Is she picking up the black one? Perfect. Sudhakar, can you pass it? Jaren, can you take it from Sudhakar? I'm being a PM. Delegating responsibility. That's what PMs do. They just sit back and do nothing. That's why your job is so easy as a PM. His project manager walks in shorts. Yeah, I know. That too in Wells Fargo Bank, huh? Yeah. You would think that Wells Fargo would have better.
And they serve beer on Friday.
Yes, sir. They know you're going to Wells Fargo, huh? That's an incentive. multiple speeds. No, because it doesn't matter. You can control the coolness. Maybe we should reduce it a bit so that it doesn't come in the way of. And let's move it. I'll move it here. Is it coming to you? No, you're the only one who said it, maybe. Everybody was feeling hot. Okay. All right. Bug management and bug triaging. What that means is, as a PM, as a BA, you are working with a product, right? And the product will almost always have bugs. Right? It is impossible for a software not to have bugs. I don't think any software has been made that doesn't have bugs. In fact, the software even goes live with bugs, right? It's natural. As a PM, you are responsible for understanding how severe a bug is. How much is it affecting the end users? Can they live with it, or do they have workarounds for it? Or is it a complete showstopper for them, right? So based on these discussions with the end users, with the business team, with the technical team, sometimes technical teams will say, you know what, this bug can never be removed because it's impossible to do it. At least all this understanding has to be gathered by you. And then you'll realize, okay, and then you'll decide that, okay, bug number 1 will be fixed in Q1 2010. Bug number 2 will also be fixed in Q1 2010. Bug number 3 is going to be fixed now, as in we'll have to do a patch right now, today. It is such an urgent bug that we can't wait for 2 months, which means that this development team will have to take the software, fix the bug, and we'll have to do an emergency install for our customers, right? That's the patch. And so that's what bug management, bug triaging is, right? So as a PM, you are responsible for a whole lot more than what just a BA does. So BA is responsible for requirements gathering and scope change, and a PM is responsible for a lot more. Another thing is maintaining a release calendar for the product. What does that mean, release calendar? Scheduling, exactly. So realize one more thing, just like there are almost always bugs in a software, there are always features that users want. You'll always have tens and tens of features which are the so-called dream features that people want in your software. You can't deliver all of that in one release because it's not possible, right? They'll say we want to be able to do this and this and this and this. So as a BA or a PM, what you do is you maintain a release calendar, just like you did your bug calendar. Feature 1, 2, 3 in Q2 2010. Feature 3, feature 4, 5, 6 in Q3 2010. And literally companies would have planned out their release till maybe 2012. I've seen some release plans of Yahoo till 2012. Right? They have 3 years what they're going to be doing. So that's maintaining a release calendar. Right? So you know, at the end of the day, a BA and a PM is a very interchangeable role, very interchangeable role. But if somebody is asking you to show the differences between a BA and PM role, this is what you'll do. Knowing fully well that you could be a BA and doing all these things, and you could be a PM and doing these things, right? Or as a PM, you may not be doing this at all because there's a separate contracts management group and you're not responsible for this. There might be a dedicated release management team, you're not responsible for this. So this is like the superset of every possibility, every possible duty that you can have. It's a superset. And I'm sure I missed a few, right? At the end of the day, as a BA or a PM, anything is fair game to you, right? I mean, they can tell you, go treat clients to a nice party. Do it, you're mixing with them. You're trying to understand them, trying to get a better understanding of their needs, right? They'll say, set up a meeting with 5 of our most important customers. So now you're doing the role of an admin, calling up hotels, setting their reservation and stuff like that. It's okay, right? Nothing is beneath you. Nothing is out of the blue. So anything is possible. Let's see. Let's talk about the difference between a product manager and a project manager, in case it's not very clear already. Difference between a product manager and a project manager. I'll take my favorite example. My favorite example is the team I come from Wells Fargo Bank. In Wells Fargo Bank, I was working for a group called the SVT team. Stood for Store Vision Teller Team. Right? It was a technical team. It had 50 developers. It had 50 QAs. This is one of those funny teams where development to QA ratio is 1-to-1. The reason it was 1-to-1 is because it was manual testing. And when there's manual testing, they need more resources to cover the ground. And number two, they took it very seriously, right? They were ready to invest a lot of money into QA because it's a very crucial application. What was the application? That application was called Cashbox application. So the SVT team, the technical team, was developing the Cashbox application used by 50,000 tellers of Wells Fargo Bank. Wells Fargo at one time had 180,000 employees. Out of that, 50,000 were tellers. Huge, right? I mean, that's what their bank's business is. And now I think they're 300,000 after Wachovia merger. Which ERP they use? I think they use PeopleSoft. But I was not involved in the ERP part of the business at all, so I don't know. So, are you an ERP guy? Yeah, okay. Raman, you're also an ERP guy, right? And then you're also an ERP guy. A lot of ERP guys here. So, okay. So, 50,000 tellers, right? These are the end users. So this is an example where the customers of this application is an internal group, okay? And then there's another group in Wells Fargo called the DSSG group. It stood for Distributed Store Strategies Group. Okay. Why am I boring you with these details? That's because when you put a project on your resume, you would have to think about these things. Even though you may never have worked in that bank, I have had the privilege of work in this, group. So when you decide the 6-7 projects that you put on your resume, you should think about, okay, what was my team name? Because somebody will ask you, which team do you work with in WAMU if you have WAMU on your resume? Right? You can't just say technical team. Have a team name. How will you get that? Google. A lot of information on Google, the various technical teams of WAMU. Or you'll be talking to people, right? Maybe you have a WAMU friend. Jaren, you have a friend who works in Assurant, right? Call up Shravanti and say, Shravanti, what is the team you're working in, right? Ashna, you'll call Akash and say, hey, tell me the name of the group you're working in. You'll have to tap into your friends and family and, well-wishers so that you get targeted names. And even if you have no friends and anybody willing to help you, you'll make it up, right? I was working for teller application group, tag. And then you start saying tag to the interviewer as if you really know what the heck you're talking about. But you'll have to, right? And then you'll have to name your application. I happen to know this application is Cashbox application. If you don't know the application that you were working on your resume, then make it up, right? Who were the users of your application is important to keep in mind. Which was the business team? This is the business team that owns this application. Business team, the distributed store strategies group. Who are these people? Again, as I said, these are a bunch of MBA types. Maybe not be MBAs, but the MBA types, which means they are pretty articulate, they're pretty aggressive, they're pretty smart, they're very knowledgeable, very hardworking, right? The tellers don't have the same quality. No offense to tellers who might be here with their previous experiences, but they are not generally MBA types. You know, they're more like maybe high school graduates, maybe some associate degree types, and that's why they're doing a $13, $14 per hour job. These guys are 80, 90K, 100K jobs, and if not more. So this Cashbox application that is used by tellers, that is owned by the DSSG group, worked on by the SVT team, and you are a BA wrapped around this application, right? You are the BA, which means you are pretty much interfacing with everyone. So you should have some technical qualities. You should have some MBA type qualities. And then you should also be able to get down to the level of an end user and talk to them at their level. And so you need to have a lot of these qualities. So the tellers are just the users of the application. Tellers really are not very sophisticated. Tellers don't care if you are complying with federal rules and regulations or not, right? As you know, banking industry is very strictly regulated, right? Who worries about that? The technical teams? No. The tellers? No. The business team is the one that wants to make sure that their application is in compliance with, you know, Federal Reserve Bank rules and regulations, right? Like what? Simple rules and regulations like identity management, as in what I'm trying to say here is accepted forms of ID. So when a person walks into the bank and say, I'm Alok Bhatia, I don't have an ID. I don't have a drive. So driver's license is accepted form. Passport is accepted form. Mexican driver's license is also an accepted form. A US Army ID card is accepted, right? But these are the only things. If I have my ATM card with my picture on it, not good enough, right? I mean, I can still deposit, but maybe I cannot withdraw money just because I have a picture on a card, right? That doesn't, or my driver license from India, doesn't matter, right? So that's one of the, for example, compliance things that this application needs to have, right? So that if somebody walks in Mexico driver's license and he's turned away, your bank can be fined money if that guy goes and complains that, you know what, I walked into the bank and they didn't serve me, right? What are other some compliance things? For example, how long can a check be put on hold, right? So say Naveen is a Wells Fargo customer, and Naveen takes a check from Alok, who is also a Wells Fargo customer, for $10,000. And Naveen walks into the bank and deposits the check. Should this money be available to him right away, or should we put on hold for a day?
Maybe you can get a part of money. Like
Part of the money, okay, 30%? 30% of the money? You know? Yeah, Madhu, because you, there you go. First $100 is always available. The things that happen, okay, yeah, go ahead, and then? Exactly. You guys are both right. There's something about in the world of banking an on-us check versus an off-us check. Wells Fargo is saying when Naveen walks in, this check is an on-us check, which means Wells Fargo is saying, yeah, I understand this check. This check is from a Wells Fargo customer to a Wells Fargo customer. If Naveen wants, not just if Naveen wants, Naveen may not say anything. And Wells Fargo would love to, debit my account and keep it in their account and earn interest rates for a couple of days before releasing it to him. But Federal Reserve Bank will come down with a major hefty fine for this practice, right? Because it's a very tightly regulated industry. So in this particular case, from what I know, Madhu, and maybe I'm wrong, the entire amount should be available by that night when the systems reset. It's an honest check. It's a different thing though if he didn't get Alok's check and he got Rachna's Bank of America check for $10,000. Now the bank, the teller application has to again make $100 available right away, which means right off the bat, Naveen's balance will go by $100 available. And the other amount will get released to Naveen in phases. And I don't even know, 30%, 40%, and then on the third day, all of it remaining, something like that, right? Who is worrying about all these things? The product managers. The product managers are telling the BA, hey, BA, make sure that we do not break any FRB regulations in this. And what is the BA doing? A BA is documenting all these regulations in a requirements document so that the developers, whatever they have to do, whatever their way is of releasing money and making it available, they can implement that, right? So these becomes the product managers who really worry about the rules and regulations, about the features, right? Sometimes a BA may not even have access to the end users, right? A BA may not have access to end users. In that case, the end users are talking to the product managers that, hey, we really wish that our timeout was not 10 minutes. Every time we are not active for 10 minutes, we have to log in all over again. So the product managers will then let the BA know, hey, we should change the timeout from 10 to 15, right? Or the tellers might say, sometimes I need to be logged into two stations together because I'm helping somebody here and I'm also helping somebody there. I want ability to be logged into two stations, two teller stations at the same time. All these features will be discussed by end users to the business team, which will then get relayed to you, and you relay to the technical teams. Right? So product manager owns a product. A project manager like you executes enhancements for that product. So I want to write it down that way. A product manager owns a product from requirements viewpoint, from enhancements viewpoint, from pricing viewpoint. So you realize that in the teller application, we do not have a need to talk about pricing. It's an internal application. If this was an external application, the product manager is the one who decides how much to give this service out to, right? For example, Yahoo Personals, right? There's a $10 a month plan, $20 a month plan. Netflix has, various plans. The product manager decides that. And from pricing viewpoint, etc., etc. A project manager executes individual enhancements / projects for a product, right? So I just want to make sure that you understand that somebody is a product manager. Who would you say is more powerful if it does come down to question of power? Product manager. Definitely, because there could be 5 project managers working on a single product, right? So those project managers will perhaps then report into the product manager. It just depends. It depends. Sometimes there are no product managers. Sometimes the project manager is only the product manager. It just depends. program manager. Good question, Elizabeth. What is a program manager? Much more senior role. So for example, let's take example of Yahoo. Okay, Yahoo has many properties, right? Many areas of making money. Biggest money maker is search, personals, finance. Thank you. Right. So Yahoo search then perhaps will have many products attached to it, right? For example, the sponsored links, right? Paid placements. And these are various products. And then third-party advertising, right? So Yahoo as a company owns a business search. A program manager will be responsible for the entire search business. A program manager will be responsible for the entire search business, which means this program manager has multiple product managers reporting into them, multiple project managers reporting into them. So program is they're handling a complete program. And so again, it's a very vague term, very vague term. But generally speaking, a program manager will be even above a product and a project manager. Senior project manager who has multiple projects, multiple products reporting into them. Maybe after 15, 20 years of experience, handling like millions of dollars of revenue and stuff like that. So senior role. Do you know any program manager? No? Okay. Anybody knows program managers here? Who's designated? Yeah, Ravan? Whose designations are program managers? How many years of experience do they have?
About 10 years.
30 years? 20, yeah. They will be total experts. They would have like hundreds of people reporting into them. They'll be like always busy working 16 hours a day because it's a lot of work. It depends upon which program manager you're program manager for, right? If you're a program manager for Yahoo search, you're pretty busy. If you're a program manager for a company of 10 people, then you're less busy, right? So it just depends. Account manager, yeah, sometimes they might be called account managers, but then account manager gives me the impression of a sales organization, and this account manager then owns an account, as in, in a technical, they call account managers, okay, yeah. These titles, the designations, they're all just so specific to the company, to the industry, stuff like that, right? So, Okay, wow, we're ahead for a change. Okay, let's talk a bit about QA, guys. Let's talk a bit about QA, quality assurance.
So product manager is business, right?
Product manager is almost always called the business team, correct? Right. So that's what you'll be saying. I'll be I was reporting into the business team is what you'll be saying. Okay, QA, quality assurance. As you know, QA comes in when the development is over, right? QA activities start, right, at that time. But that's not 100% correct. What does a QA team do? QA team involvement in design or in concept, requirements, design, and development. Right? This is the SDLC. Should a QA team be involved even before the development is ready? Yeah, they should. What should they be doing? They should be writing test cases, okay. They should be writing test plan, okay. They should be involved in requirements discussion. Wow, that's a pretty, most people will say, really? Why should a QA worry about that? But I completely agree with you. Go ahead, yeah? They should get exactly. Correct. Correct. Exactly. Right. You know, generally speaking, people don't think of QA as a very involved team. They think that, oh, QA should be there only after the development is complete. We'll hire a few testers and test the product and we are done. But organizations who take quality seriously will at least have a QA lead, a QA manager involved in all these phases in the concept, requirements, design, development. Because as Meenakshi said, that it is important to have somebody who really understands the product. Because if you understand the product well, you can train your QA engineers well, and you'll be able to write more accurate test plan and test cases. And then, hence you'll have a better quality product, right? So yeah, QA team. So you say at the end of the day, you might have 15 QA, team of 15 QA. You maybe want 2 of them to be hired right away and 13 of them to be hired towards the acceptance phase of the project, right? Okay, so okay, so what's the test plan? Yep, it's a detailed document to do what?
Testing the functionality of the software.
Okay, okay. So, right. It's like a battle preparation document, right? So a QA, as you know, QA team makes sure a product is doing what it's supposed to do, right? But there has to be a strategy around it. You can't just haphazardly start testing. So test plan is a document written in English, pure English, not technical at all, right? Not technical at all. That talks about, okay, yeah, we are testing this product called online banking. Yeah, we'll start testing on May 15, 2010. How do you know May 15? Because you looked at the project plan and it says that your development will be over by May 10th. So May 15th we'll start testing. Who will test? We have these team of 8 QA engineers who will test. What will be tested? We'll test the features of online banking as well as bill payment, right? We will not do any testing around credit card inquiries. It's out of scope, for example. We'll not do any testing of international merchants, right? So what will be tested will be also talked about. Schedule of testing will start on 15th May and will go on till 10th of June, right? And then when you will find bugs, where will you document the bugs? Where will QA team document bugs? Will they just send an email to somebody, or will they use a bug management system like Bugzilla, or will they announce on a speakerphone, right? Once a bug is found, how fast do we expect development team to fix it, right? Exactly. So if I open a severity 1 bug, severity 1 means everything is just crashed, there's no way I can go ahead. I expect a 1-hour turnaround time, which means a QA team finds a severity 1 bug, everybody's just sitting around doing nothing. The development team should be woken up if they're sleeping and they should fix it, right? If it is severity 2 bug, which means that's still a pretty big bug, but there is a workaround possible, right? Okay, I expect 3 hours turnaround, right? Which means the development team should still work pretty fast to get this back to me. And then severity 5 bug, 1 week. Because almost always the development team is busy with things, and they have to slot these things in, right? If 1 week is too much, and maybe 4 days, 3 days, whatever, right? So again, you are deciding this as a QA lead. Who writes the test plans? The QA lead will write the test plans.
So does the BA has any role in this?
A BA has a role in everything. The BA might be responsible for writing a test plan. Yeah. And in fact, the requirements that you'll work on might say very clearly, we need a BA who's an awesome QA engineer also. So we get many requirements where there's a BA QA combination. Hybrid roles. Cisco has a lot of such roles. A lot of BAs in Cisco do QA role. For the next 31 days, every time you guys will ask the question, is the BA supposed to be involved in this? The answer is always yes. There's not, as I said, a BA can be asked to do anything. Any topic I'm covering in this class, you at least should have experience talking about it or actual hands-on experience with it, depending upon what the requirement is telling us. If the requirement says familiarity, we'll say we are familiar. The requirement says hands-on experience writing test plan test cases, absolutely you've done it. Right? Simple. Writing test plan test cases is not a big deal. A lot of these things seem very kind of obscure to you because you're on the outside. Some of you don't have experience. But within a couple of months of being in the job, you realize, oh yeah, this is all common sense. It's all common sense. It's all common sense. So yeah. So yes, you might be responsible for, as a BA, to write this. And at times not, you'll be responsible for approving the test plan document, which means somebody will write it for you and you'll be expected to put your name on the dotted line that I approve this test plan. So even at that time, you should have a pretty good understanding of all these things, right? So for example, if you get a test plan and there's no such section, schedule of testing, no reference of the expectations of how fast the bug should be fixed, then you'll raise that doubt. Hey, what happened to expectation about bug fixes? How come it's not there? Because if it's not documented, nobody's thinking about it. And then later on, chaos, fights, arguments, right, stuff like that. So it's a very good idea to document everything and anything, right? You have to be very big on documentation. I haven't looked at questions in a while. Let me make sure there are no questions. View questions. Is a BA required for every project, or is there a generally accepted conditions for which BA are required? Like if we are building something from scratch, we need a BA. If it is small enhancement, we don't need a BA. Excellent question, Val. Great question. No, not great. Great question. Depends. I know you hate the depends answer, right? When somebody says depends, I never am satisfied with that answer because I'm like, what does that mean, depends? And then the next question is almost a continuation of that. I need to decide? It is a group effort. Okay, so after having given these two vague answers, let me try to attempt them. So when you're building something from scratch, you should have a BA, because if you don't have a BA, who's going to document what needs to be done, right? If you look at this chapter 4 again, guys, I'll ask you guys to open up day 4 and go to page go to page 24. Day 4, page 24. Read it. Read this paragraph. Okay, so in a way I'm answering Val's question. You know, BA is almost always required, whether it's a small enhancement or a big project, because somebody needs to understand exactly what needs to be done. Exactly as in written down expectation of what the software is supposed to do. If you don't have a BA up front, most probably your developers are talking to your customers, and that's never a good idea. Number one, because developers don't want to talk to customers. Developers are usually very inward looking. They don't need to talk and engage. You know, they're not the talkative types. Some engineers are, but most of them are not. If they are, then they become BAs and PMs, because they say, you know what, I know the technical side. Let me now become the BA side or the PM side. So I would say a BA is always required. If I was asked this question, you know, it's a great interview question actually. If I was asked this question in an interview, I would say, even if I feel that a BA is not required and it is a very small, minor, very easily understandable requirement, I would still hire a BA for a week so that he or she can document the expectations and be done with it, right? As opposed to just having my developers talk to my customers. So I would say always required. Best practices dictate that they should be there. In reality, it's up in the air, right? In reality, sometimes people will become stingy and say, why do we need to hire somebody? Hey, developer, you're a pretty smart developer. You are very good at talking. Why don't you go talk to the customer? And so in that case, the technical lead is acting as a BA anyways. As a PM, do I need to decide if the project needs a BA or not? As a PM, you never decide anything alone. As a PM, you are always in a meeting. You've got, you know, lots of people that you bounce your ideas off of, and therefore no decision that you ever do is an independent decision. You'll always be surrounded. You'll be helped by other people, right? So it is a group effort, really, whether you need a BA, whether you need anything for the project, right? So other questions? Okay. Yeah, so that's what a test plan is. A high-level strategy document that talks about our, you know, our preparations for war, right? In a way, it's a war preparation document. Test case, on the other hand, is individual steps, specific steps taken to test a specific functionality of the software. So there will be one test plan, hundreds of test cases, because you know you have to test various functionalities. You have to test the login functionality, to test the search functionality, pay a bill functionality, cancel a payment functionality, transfer money from checking to savings functionality. So each and every functionality will then have a test case attached to it. Right? It's individual steps taken to test a specific functionality of the software. And of course, we'll cover these topics more later on. This is just a very gentle introduction to what is a test plan and a test case. Right? Down the line, we'll actually go into manual testing a bit more. So for example, if I am testing the login feature, I'll say, you know, I'll write my test case as this. Go to URL billpay.patelco.org. Number 2, enter Alok as username and Bhatia as password. Okay. Hit submit. Okay. And then expect to see welcome page. There you go. That's my test case. Simple, because I knew as a QA engineer that I have a username called Alok with a password called Bhatia, and I want to make sure that he can log in. Then I'll also add another test case where I pretty much repeat this, but I say go to URL this, enter Alok as username and blah as password. Hit submit, expect to see wrong password page. So now I have 2 test cases at least for my login functionality. Right? So I'll have hundreds of test cases, but only 1 test plan. Positive and negative testing, exactly. Right.
So what is the difference between test case and
We haven't even talked about use case yet in this class. So that's one thing Sachin and other guys are taking this class again, or partly again, is I have to push back some questions which most people will not understand what we're talking about. So, okay. Today being the first day of class, I want to give about 15 minutes to talk to you guys about, anything you have on your mind, hopefully in a group setting, unless it's a very, very, very personal topic, but almost nothing is ever personal because we hardly know each other. So if you have any questions about, I don't think this is for me, or I don't think I'll get what I want, or I don't think I can do this, I'm not technical enough, those are the questions, or any other questions about logistics, or I'm going out on vacation for 3 weeks, what do you suggest, stuff like that. Any questions, guys? Nothing at all, really? About resume making up? About?
As a fresher, can we go to project?
As a fresher, can you go to project? I know 20 people who were freshers. So it doesn't matter whether you're a fresher or not. I think what depends upon is, you've seen 21-year-old people who are so smart that they can conquer the world, right? Rahul Gandhi, for example, right? Priyanka Gandhi. I don't know why I'm thinking about Gandhi, because you don't know the other people I have placed, right? I can think of many people who are 23, 24, 25-year-old who are project managers. Shravanti, Jarin's friend, a lot of people. So the answer to that question, as a fresher, can you be a PM? Yes. But I guess the bigger question is, do I have it in me to be a PM? Is the bigger question that you should ask. And I can tell you the qualities of a project manager, and then you can decide for yourself. Very good at talking, very smooth, very suave, number 1. Number 2, not at all shy and not at all an introvert. Somebody who can just kind of seize the party, for example, right? And then the topics that we cover in class is an icing on the cake. So a lot of people who come to me are actually bringing about 80% BA PM skills with their personality and their attitude, and I'm just giving icing on the cake. So as a project manager, I would say it's a senior role for sure. They are looking for some level of maturity, some level of sophistication. Do you write excellent emails? Do you can you capture the essence of a meeting, 1 hour long meeting with 20 people are talking, and capture the essence of it and be able to send it back to the 20 people asking for approvals? It's a PM is definitely a bit more senior role than BA, for sure.
I have a kind of a vague question. Once you get into, say, a BA or a PM role, it's important that you want to stick on it. You want to be successful as a BA or PM. So what is the success rate once you go in, considering the fact that you don't have a technical background or you're absolutely fresh?
Right. So out of the 120 placements we've done in the last 3.5 years, 3 people have been asked to go. So that's a 3% failure rate. One of them was, I can name him because he's a success now, Amarjeet Dhillon. He was a 55-year-old major from the Indian Army. He came here on his green card through his brother, extremely low-key, used to type literally looking down, any key, any kind of finger. He joined Wells Fargo as a BA through this training. Then within a month, we got the feedback, not performing, not able to keep up with the pace of work. Nobody insulted him, nobody ridiculed him. People are nice. They'll just, give the feedback, it's not working out. Sometimes they say project funding ended, even though it's not really ended. because they don't want to hurt people. And then the second project Amarjeet got was as a QA engineer in Highmark, which is a division of Blue Cross Blue Shield in Pittsburgh, and he's been holding on to that job for 2.5 years. So it is possible, of course. 120 people before you have done it, and almost everybody is a fresher, right? Nobody comes to companies like Canvas because they have experience, and people then find their own jobs. So it can definitely be done, knowing that as a PM or a BA, you'll always have to think about this. Day 1, page 6, which you haven't covered, we'll go on it tomorrow. BAs or PMs need to remember that project management is not doing the project. It is ensuring that the project gets done. There's a huge difference between doing something yourself versus being responsible for delegation and ensuring that things are getting done, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I can do sales, I can do accounting, but I'm still making it done, right? Getting it done by paying people, by giving them incentives. Same thing with you as a BA, as a PM. I think it's more over here. And I know it's a very common fear that, oh my God, I don't have any experience. How will I do it? But once a week, every week, we get somebody in class over here. People like you who were in these shoes, 8 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years, and then they come and talk to you guys about how they pulled it off. Because again, we are not asking you to become system administrators and you have to suddenly, upgrade an operating system. No, simple things, gather requirements, manage this project from start to end, get finance approved, evaluate some vendors. So that's some hard work, definitely hard work. I've seen many people work 14, 15-hour days for sure in the first 3 months of their job. 14, 15 hours is easy. I mean, when I say easy, I mean it's very common. It's very common for people to work 14, 15-hour days. But then things become more low-key after that, right? And then, after a few months, you're like completely comfortable. So it's easy. It can be done. So I hope I answered your question. Yeah. And again, I think you'll get that confidence after you see other people, and I can hook you up with those guys. Even if you can't wait for 4 weeks to make up your mind, talk to other people. I think a lot of people who came to orientations, I gave them references of my successful candidates. Of course, I'll not give references of the unsuccessful candidates. But talk to them, right? And literally, I mean, very varied background, right? Stockbrokers, mortgage agents, travel agents. You'll almost always have thoughts about running away. That's also very common. I mean, I've seen it all, by the way, right? In 3.5 years, I have to beg people at times to stay on the job. Not because I make $10 an hour. I mean, that's a little part of it. But more than anything else, it's a very bad impression of ours when our consultant feels like fleeing or running away. And we've had people who've run away from jobs. So that doesn't include those 3 people. I've had 3 or 4, Raman, Sanjeev, used to call and tell me, Alok, I get heart palpitations at work. I get weak knees at work. I mean, it's very, very extreme reactions. Everybody's tolerance for pressure is different. So different people take it differently. Some people say, you know what, I'm in this for good, and I'll just go for it. And some people are always looking for the first excuse to get out. So I don't know you well enough to make that judgment for you. But they're like people after people after people who have no background in anything, and they're holding on great jobs, right? So a lot of MBAs, a lot of biomedical, chemical engineers. So yeah, just anybody you want to talk to, you're more than welcome. Other things. Other questions, guys? Chirag, Tushar, nothing? Deepti?
are we going to get next for that? Can you keep shifting behavior and that start with
Well, so say you start with QA, and then after 6 months your project ends, and now you're ready to become a BA because you thought, okay, I've had my fill of QA, I really think I'm a BA material. Then at that time you will not be selling with your QA resume. Then you will spin your latest project as a business analyst and show that you have 6 years of BA experience before you apply. So it becomes a bit tricky because if we marketed you heavily with our clients, and then it is difficult to suddenly reinvent you as a BA. At least for a couple of years, you should think that. But then, there's these are again where all the shady things happen with consulting companies. You're DEEPTHI, right? Deepti? DEP? No H, but double E, right? Okay. So then once you've done your QA, then we want to market you as a BA. We will market you with an H. So, a different email ID, a different phone number. Nobody really knows it's the same Deepti who came as a QA 6 months ago. So there are a lot of marketing kind of techniques. So if you're really into, okay, I really want to be a BA, it can be done. Where there's a will, there's a way, always. Whatever you want to be, you can be, right? With my help or your own help or a third company's help. So I don't think you should be thinking that I'm stuck with QA. So I guess you're asking this question because you want to give QA a shot and then become a BA later on. Is that what you are thinking? Okay, you want to go in technical side. Now, which is not a bad idea generally. This way of getting introduced to IT as a QA is actually not a bad thing because as a QA, it's not so much pressure on you. A BA or a PM is definitely a lot more pressure on you because you are the center of everybody's universe. The end users want to talk to you, the customers want to talk to you, the developers, the finance team, the senior VPs. You are conducting JAD sessions, you're conducting focus groups. It's definitely more pressure. As a QA engineer, you go in, you settle down for a few days, you get a build, you start testing it. You're one of the 10 QA engineers after all, right? So it's a gentler introduction to the world of IT. So some people take that approach. I'll be a QA first and then I'll become a BA later on. So other things, guys?
Yeah, how do we do the background verification check? Let's say if I'm mentioning so company's name, I'm going to Wellspot. Do we do the background check?
I need to stop recording. Definitely. It's perhaps the hardest thing you've ever done. Let me just say that. If you thought that your high school was hard or your bachelor's was hard, this is the hardest thing you've ever done. Because, you're pulling off 6 years of experience, so no doubt about that. It is not for the weak-hearted. It's not for the weak-willed. So, definitely. Other questions, guys? Last project should almost always be the local project, yes, because they're looking for local people. So when I am, stop recording.